Oh, hi there. Um, it's probably wise course of action to, not delve into conspiracy theories, but you know, I, I can't help but think that I'm not the only one who's, on this flight path of, of intellectual theory. Okay, what do we got going on right now? Forest fires, a lot of them in British Columbia. There are obviously natural factors like it hasn't been, particularly warm this year. Of course, it is near the fires, but that's because of the fires and other reasons. But I mean, here in Vancouver, it like really didn't pick up in temperature until early August, and that's not that unusual for our type of weather. It just isn't. And I mean, the thing is about conspiracy theories is you will always have people. It doesn't matter if you're right or not. They will always say, "No, that's not true," and they think that's a good enough answer to dismiss you. And they'll act like, "Oh, their time's too precious," or this and the other. And it's just like, shut up. I don't like people who come along and discourage conversation because they're too stupid to think of a proper answer, or they want to hoard information to themselves. I'm just saying it's a possibility. Um, a lot of people are very critical of the NDP and their inability to deal with this fire. But who says they're not doing exactly what it is they're supposed to do? They're just not entirely telling us why. And I'm not saying any, the firefighters and things like that that are out there. I'm not saying they're not doing their job. I'm not saying that their job's not very hard. But I think there might be an alternate theory as to why it's so bad this year and why the NDP seems to have quite a feeble grasp on how to deal with it. Maybe it's on purpose. Because the thing is, okay, I watched a documentary, like a short little one on Facebook. It looked pretty legit. Um, and I couldn't help but remember those insects a few years back that I think they were back east or whatever, and that problem never kind of got resolved. It just they were hoping it was going to get cold enough to kill them off, and to date I haven't heard anyone say that. I mean, obviously I hadn't been thinking about it, because I'm a day-to-day type of person. I think of things at the day at the time. Um, anyway, so there might be some sort of new insect within British Columbia. And the documentary I watched was basically about how China is, they grind up cockroaches and make drinks out of them. And the way they uh, breed them is, the ideal environment, so they're able to produce them so quickly. I mean, there's a lot of people in China. They need to be fed with something, and I mean, I personally would not want to eat a cockroach, but the thing is, that is biological warfare right there, because they were saying that it was a concern because some of these, insects would be immune to pesticides and various other ways of how we've, as a nation, have always gone about, getting rid of insects. Um, and cockroaches, for example, are very difficult to get rid of anyway. And I mean, I forget the name of that bug that was troubling the guys back east, but obviously in British Columbia, and well, up north, yes, but in the lower parts, it most certainly does not get to -40. Okay, upper part, sure, yes, it does. But if the because I'm here in Vancouver and it's like there's smog everywhere. It's not going to get cold enough to kill this hypothetical new bug, but you know, purge it with fire. A fire would most likely fry up most of them. And I specifically named China, but there's a whole bunch of different countries, per se, that could get up to this sort of thing. There's all the Asian countries, and some of them are even allies of ours. You take Japan, for example, Hong Kong, for example, South Korea, for example, loosely India, and any one of those countries could do this. Because, actually creating ideal breeding grounds for things like insects and things like that is actually not very difficult. An amateur could do it. And, over time, they do get stronger, bigger, and they're immune to pesticides and things like that. And the thing is, the best way to do it would be to plant it on some low-level peon, and you may go, well, how are they going to know if this low-level peon is going to go to British Columbia or not? Well, what do you know? Internet. You buy your tickets for the plane on the internet. You look up travel destinations. You look up parks and big lakes and things like that, because that's what you come to go vacation for. So they already know, and they'll just pick some chump, and when his baggage is being unpacked, or not unpacked, uh, it obviously it changes hands, and like there are quite a number of insects that are very, very, very tiny and very, very problematic. And there are countries that there is an undeclared war with us involving them. And that's the thing a lot of people don't understand, is that it doesn't matter how nice you are, it doesn't matter how kind you are. I mean, you gotta try to. This is Canada. We have to try and be nice, but you have to understand the puppet masters in other parts of the world do not like us for being Canadian, and they don't care if you stand up and go, "Oh, that's racist." Blah, 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 blah. They don't care. They will do it. And as I was saying, these conspiracy type videos that I've been making, it's a bit of an iffy subject because it's a tangled web of deceit and trickery. And, as a hypothetical, I could be that low level peon. I quite often I'm on public transit. Not lately, but I took public transit every day. And the thing is, a lot of those seats are fabric, easy for a little bug to kind of walk around and you not notice it. And there are a lot of insects out there, a lot of different types, a lot of different things. Like I'd mentioned cockroaches, but I'm sure they're trying it with all different ones, and it is biological warfare, and it's very effective because a lot of the trees that are getting burnt up are the ones that are worth a lot of money. But we can't have insects running around that are going to cause us more problems in the future and going to destroy the trees anyway. Um, we can't have that. So I mean, it does take a long time to grow those trees, but it's all about maintenance and just the firefighters doing the best they can. And I'm just proposing this as a potential theory as to why there's an undercurrent of the NDP being blamed for not doing enough about the fire problems that we're having. I would, really appreciate it if they had, they're able to get more supplies of, what you call it, those things that old people will need when there's, smoke and smog out there. I just forget what it's called. I wouldn't even mind having one, but I could go without. But um, you know, there should be enough supply for everyone. Uh, I mean, you get people going, "Oh, you got free healthcare and things like that over here." No, 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 no. We have different type of healthcare than you do. One way or another, you pay for it. Doesn't always have to be obvious. but you won't see any news reports that it could be a possible insect infestation. That's the reason why the fires are so there's so many of them, and that um, they're hard to deal with. And there might be more of them, and they might have been started by man. And I don't mean just some chump out in the boonies smoking a cigarette. I mean like someone a little higher up the food chain. Um, and as I said, it's not always the smartest thing to go on the internet, especially with your fizzog, and start talking about conspiracy theories about what other countries are doing. It's not always a good idea. But I already put my foot into this already, so there's no incentive for me to not continue to make videos like this. And besides, I'm having a good time, and that's what's important. Um, but yeah, I would not like to be on the bus and like some bug decides that it likes me or something and causes me all kinds of problems. I mean, it never gets hot enough for a long enough time in Vancouver area for there are bed bugs around obviously and things like that, but most households around here don't have them. I mean, even in San Francisco and things like that, when I was down there in Anaheim, I mean, it really wasn't that hot there. I mean, granted, I went there in April a couple years ago, but I was wearing jeans. I was wearing my Anaheim Mighty Ducks jersey, and there were days where I'm going, "Ooh, it is kind of hot," but it really wasn't that bad. Um, but I don't know. I just pitching this as a possibility is all. Um, you know, it's it's just one of those things. Uh, we get so many travelers coming here, and they come from all parts of the world, and it wouldn't even matter. Like there are puppet masters that operate outside of their own jurisdiction, their own country per se, and they're able to, for a few whatevers, an insignificant amount of money, they're able to get guys to or women to, you know, be unwilling participants. In fact, they may even get a kick out of, getting them to do it for free. That way, there's plausible deniability because the idiot never knew that he did it, and you know, um, I'm just saying it's an avenue of possibility. Um, hmm. Well, that's main points I wanted to make. I really appreciate all the work that the firefighters are doing because it's not easy work. Um, so all the power to them, and hopefully they can reverse the damage. I just those dang insects. You just you don't want an infestation of them destroying the lumber supply. That would not be good. Um, anyway, I guess I'll finish up this video. Talk to you guys later. Have a good one.